What's up, good people? Welcome back to another live Q&A with BA and Praise. And forgive us, man. I know we're running like 30 minutes late. That's on the kid today. We had some technical difficulties, but we're here now. And from what Praise just shared with me as we got started, we're gonna give y'all 4 keys to win in 2026. And so, Pete, what's up, bro, man? Hey, first of all, I just want to applaud your consistency, right? We've been showing up every single week, for the most part, as long as we could and schedules permitted. But I appreciate the fact that we ending the year off strong, right? We two
Yeah,
days away from the start of the new year. And although we normally do this on Thursday, we elected to do it on Tuesday so that the people could still get fed. And so big shout out to you, bro, and staying consistent.
yeah, man. It's crazy how long it's been. I was just reflecting on, this God's faithfulness over this coaching call. So yeah, if I want to be consistent at the next level, I gotta be consistent with this one. So that's why I've just been, trying to be a good mentee. But I get fed from these too. So as much as the people get fed, I get front row tickets. So I love it. So I appreciate you for showing up as well, my man.
For
It means a
sure,
lot.
for sure, for sure. And for everybody that's watching this live, put your comments in the chat per usual. We'll get to them as we kind of comb through the conversation. If you're watching on the replay, put your comments in the comment section. We also get to those later on. So so the conversation today is 4 ways to win in 2026, right? 4 keys to win in 2026. But I'm gonna tell you something, bro, for that I didn't see coming in 2025 for me.
Mm,
As it stands, I'm one day away from finishing the Bible in its entirety. One day away from finishing the Bible in its entirety. Why that's so important is I think it just kind of it shapes what we're talking about in terms of how to win in 2026. For me, I didn't realize how big of a win reading the Bible cover to cover was going to be for me in 2025, right?
mm.
Of all the things that I could have put forth for what my goals and aspirations and desires were for the year, I didn't think that completing the Bible would be my biggest accomplishment of the year.
Yeah.
And I want to be clear as to why I'm saying this. I hate reading. No, no, not like I don't like reading. Not like it's okay. No, I despise it
Mm.
with every fiber in me. Right? Always have. Truth is, this is now the first book that I've read manuscript cover to cover
Mm.
in my life. I've listened to audiobooks. Right? Don't get it. But I've this is the first book that I've completed from cover to cover. And when you look at the volume, right? When you look at the volume, I gotta pull these stats up, bro, because it's mind blowing to me.
Pull the stats up, B.
Oh, you don't even understand. This is mind blowing.
Pull the stats up.
Oh, bro.
He said, I'm gonna let y'all know
Oh
today.
no, I'm about to let you know. We're gonna sit here for a minute. 1,189 chapters,
Mm.
31,000 verses, 1,300 plus pages, bro, is the Bible. 1,189 chapters, 31,000 verses, 1,300 plus pages. And I'm telling you, they gave your boy assignments for 100-page books in school and it did not get done. You know what I mean? We got to page 73 and we started fading, right? And so it just taught me a lot about myself. It taught me that despite how much I hate reading, how much I love God, right? It taught me
Good.
that you don't try to read 1,189 chapters in a day. You break it up into bite-sized digestible chunks every day. You know what I mean? Which was for me was still a heavy servant, right? Because I was reading on average 4 to 6 chapters a day.
Mm.
4 to 6 chapters a day. I mean, that's a lot of reading. For me, that take me almost 45 minutes because my mind drifts and I got to go back and reread and that's my frustration with reading, right? It's is that my mind drifts as I read manuscript. I got a better opportunity for it to download when I listen to it in audio.
Yeah.
And so I say all that to say, I don't have immediate feedback on how it's changed my life and all the things, but I can tell you that it's changed me in the sense of showing me how if the desired outcome is strong enough, it don't matter how you feel about the input that you can do the input.
Yeah.
Even if I despise the input, I can have the discipline to do the input if the payoff is big enough. And for me, the desired goal and payoff was to get closer to God, to understand more of who He is in totality, to not just go in and, you know, exegete verse and verse. And that's if there's a big win for me, right, biblically, it's now understanding the full context of the Bible.
Yeah.
It's also understanding how misrepresented verses are because people don't understand the full context of what's happening in those chapters with those verses. So we pull verses out and give them meaning that they don't actually mean. So I think that's the biggest win for me looking at reading the Bible cover to cover and then just understanding God's nature from, the start of everything in Genesis and now the end of everything in Revelation. And so it's it's a beautiful thing. For me, I used a app called the Bible Recap within YouVersion. If anybody ever wanted to try to read it cover to cover, I've tried this on several occasions with other reading plans before, and I never made it. Right. And so this one I was able to stay consistent with. Even when I fell behind 5, 6 days, I still was able to get caught up. And I just encourage anybody who want to get deeper in the word, like it's worth doing for sure. It's worth doing for sure. So now going into 2026, now that I've read volume, now I'm going to dissect books,
Mm.
right? And really to do deep dives on particular books. I've read the totality of the manuscript. Now it's about getting surgical with it, because it's hard to do both of those at the same time. It's hard to
Tell
get
me about it.
and read volume. So now it's like I got the overall concept. Now I'm about to get surgical with it so that we could really see how to apply this thing on a day in and day out basis in 2026. So I think that's just the appropriate backdrop as we talk about the four keys to win in 2026, right? One of the first keys is having daily discipline. If reading the Bible from cover to cover, 1,189 chapters, 31,000 verses taught me anything, is anything is attainable if you have a daily discipline.
It's good.
By the way, thank God I didn't know it was 1,189 chapters and 3,100 verses until 3 days ago. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because looking at that kind of thing on the front end, many of us get so discouraged we don't even start.
Come on,
So
B.
let's not get overwhelmed by finding out how the hot dog was made, right? You know how you eat a hot dog, but then when you actually go and find out how the hot dog was made, you would never want to eat that thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's better to protect ourselves from knowing all the details.
Yes.
We just need to know what the outcome is that we want,
Yeah.
and then reverse engineer whatever the daily inputs need to be to get to that desired outcome. Reverse engineer whatever those daily inputs need to be to get to that desired outcome. So it's daily disciplines number one. Okay, it's got to be non-negotiable daily disciplines if you want any chance at 2026 being different than 2025. And when I say daily disciplines, that's what I mean. I mean that all because it was cold outside and you had to go put air in the tires unexpectedly and your morning got threw off a little bit, that you still show up for the YouTube live even if it's 30 minutes late. That's a daily discipline. Far too often we let circumstances and situations determine our behavior. And if you do that, you're never going to win in life. You should acknowledge your circumstances and situation, but that shouldn't determine what you do as a response to those. And so what happens is we go through life too much reacting to things instead of responding to them.
Mm. It's good.
When I react to it, that's more often than not some emotional response that is predicated on what just happened. When I respond to something, that's more of an introspective, digested, discerned response after I processed everything. So something happens, something piss you off. Man, I ain't doing this. I'm through. I ain't doing nothing else today. That's what most people do every day. Is something derails them. Oh, she didn't came home with attitude. Oh, the kids came home with this problem. Oh, it's always something circumstantial. And then they take that as an opportunity to then say, I just do it tomorrow. And guess what? Scripture says, don't worry about tomorrow because tomorrow got enough worries of its own, which would be indicative of the fact that, oh, it's going to be some more smoke tomorrow. So every day you're picking your poison as to which poison are you going to let contaminate your day. So that's the danger of not having a daily discipline. It's got to be a non-negotiable that I got to get it done regardless. There's always going to be beauty in ashes. Always. As I shared with you, I'm like, my morning was already challenging, right? And not
Yeah.
because of our stuff, because of other things that we talked about. But there's going to be a part of this day that's going to be beautiful at the same time as well, though. And we have to stop assigning a general sense of every, like, what happens is we take a segment of the day and then we define the whole day as that.
Yes.
I had a moment that sucked, and now I said my whole day is bad. What you just declared that your whole day is bad though. Because the truth is that moment was not ideal. Not the whole day. But now you've just you've literally just defined and declared that the rest of your day is gonna suck. That you gotta live in. You shaped your world for the rest of the day based on the moment that occurred. And so when I started to understand this a few years ago, bro, I never have bad days no more. I have bad moments. A bad day is my choice. A bad moment, I may have didn't have a choice. So we got to be careful that we can look at every situation for what it is and not let a situation define the totality of the day.
It's good. And I have a question about the daily disciplines. Would you say not having daily disciplines is a lack of clarity or a lack of vision of where someone wants to go?
Could be. I think sometimes,
Because, like, I've heard people say, like, what am I being disciplined for? And it's like, well, what do you want to be? You
yeah,
know?
well,
So,
scripture says that without vision, the people will perish, right?
yeah.
Perish in this context, meaning everything without vision dies. If I don't have a vision for my health, I get up every day, do what I want to do, but I also don't look how I want to look. I don't have a vision for the type of friendships that I want. So by virtue of that, I keep hanging around with people that I know aren't good for me, but because I don't have a clear vision of what it should look like, I default into what it should not look like.
Mm.
I don't have a vision for my finances long term, so I live check to check. Why would I save anything for later when I want to please myself now? I don't have a vision for my marriage or my relationship, and as a result, they get what they get. There's no intentionality behind. There's no sacrifice involved. It's all about me, 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 me. I. So yes, if I don't have a vision truly about what I want my life to look like, then it's hard to discipline myself against the things that I would naturally be inclined to do. 1000%, that's a part of it. But it's not the only part of it. The other part of it is that people may have the vision for what they say they want their life to look like. But the vision isn't conviction.
Mm.
the vision came from here instead of from here. They saw what they thought they wanted as opposed to seeing what they thought they wanted. It's two totally different things. And if my why isn't strong enough based on the vision that I've seen with my eyes, then my behavior won't be consistent enough to get that outcome because it's not a real vision. It's just a desire, it's just a preference, it's just an idea. It could be covetousness, it could be envy, it could be jealousy, it could be a myriad of those things that I see with my eyes that make me say I want that. But because my why behind that isn't strong enough, it won't make me do the things I need to do to get that.
It's good.
That's why people got champagne taste and beer activity. Oh, I want to be on jets and this. Okay, well, what does that look like though? That look like something. That look like being obsessed with the inputs on a day in and day out basis. That look like nobody ever shows up to tap you on your shoulder to tell you what to do next. That look like something. So yes, a part of it is people don't have vision. The secondary part is they have the wrong vision.
Mm.
And the wrong vision will never bring the right action.
That's good. That's real good, B. That's good. I like that. I like that. Yeah. So what's number 2? First one is daily discipline.
Daily discipline is number 1. Number 2 is, and by the way, I didn't know that this was the conversation, so these are in no particular order, okay? But they are all requisite. Number 2 would be getting clear vision.
Mm.
Psalm 37:4 says, take delight in the Lord and he'll give you the desires of your heart. Which does not mean that he'll give you everything you want. As you take delight in him, as you sup with him, as you sit with him, as you commune with him, as you talk to him, it's not that he'll give you everything you want, he'll give you everything to want. Take delight in the Lord and he'll give you the desires of your heart. So as I take delight in him, as I spend time with him, as I become more like him, then I'm going to start to desire the things for my life that he desires for my life. So now this is where this vision goes away and this vision develops. Bro, if I was to show you, it's gonna take too much time to pull it up. But if I were to show you what every year I write out a vision, right? I started doing this in probably 2018, 2019. But then in 2022, I started taking sabbaticals. So now I don't write my vision until I have my sabbatical, right? Prior to that, I wrote my vision with this. Now, I think that there was some prayer involved and all of that, but I know based on the drastic difference between the two that it was mostly this. And it would say things like, you know, it'd be philanthropic stuff in there about what I want to do for other people. I'm going to donate this much money. I'm going to get this much money to the church. It was that. But it was also like house in the hills with floor to wall glass. You know what I'm saying? Like, dead serious. Before COVID happened, we were about to split time and have a house in San Diego and one in Florida and spend time in Cali during the summer when the summer.
Oh, wow.
And all the things. But it was that though. It was more about how much more can I get. Not that there wasn't a giving component to it, but it really was about like scale this, more that, do this, buy that, have this, have that. Because I was seeing it with this vision. And then when I started taking these sabbaticals and I would pray and sit there and listen and then jot down what I sense. It's a stark difference. And it's still not as far as some would say, where it's like, I'm a impact 1,000 people lives and shit. That to me, that's goofy. For me, right? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. For me, that's not real enough to me to drive me,
Yeah.
right? What was real enough for me is whether it's 3 people here, 30 people here, 300 people here, that I want to impact their life in this moment. That's real to me,
That's
right? And
good.
that's how I show up for these moments. Not some arbitrary, fictitious number about how many people I want to touch this year. That's up to God. I just need to prepare myself for the 300 to 3,000, 30,000, right? That's my part. But in saying that, now it's like a vision for my marriage. What are we gonna do this year? A vision for me as now a new grandfather. What am I gonna do this year? A vision for the family dynamic and unit. How do I want us to operate with the adult child, and what are we gonna do? What does that look like? A vision for my health, and what do I need to do to achieve my health goals for this year? A vision for the business. You know, what elements should we keep doing, stop doing, start doing? Right? What does that look like? Where's the business going? As you know, I'm redoing Believers in Biz. Well, that unction started from when I was on sabbatical 3 weeks ago.
Mm.
And then I just kept praying about it, petitioning about it, and then I got the clarity of this is the new direction, right? And when I sent it to you, you was like, "Oh, this a no brainer," right? That comes out of setting vision in every area of my life. There was a time when I thought setting vision meant the business, and I heard a message from Mike Todd like a couple years ago, and he talked about how he was praying to God to expand his reach and all these things, and God was like, how can I bless you with that body?
Mm.
He was 350 pounds. He was like, if I'm a God of stewardship, if I increase your capacity and you need to get on and off planes and run around, you're on a CPAP machine at night. What we talking about? So that's when he got on his health kick to go get his body in shape. Because God can only do through us what our capacity will allow for. But that taught me something. It was an unlock for me because it was like, you should have a vision for every area, every important area of your life, not just for your business and what you want to do next year financially, but like every meaningful, important area of your life, there should be a vision for it. So now when I write vision, it's categories, and I do it every year that way, and I pray and I discern and I listen and I write. And by the way, sometimes what I wrote changes. So I don't want people to think it's some rigidity to it in that way. It's like no, but I guarantee you, you got a much better job, a much better chance of getting it right by doing it the way that I'm talking about than just going to write some vision board and sticking pictures of Rolls Royces up there and houses and that ain't gonna get you but so far. I can promise you that, right? Even if you attain those things, that really ain't what it's all about. It's about introspectively discerning based on what I was created to do. What am I doing to contribute toward that this year? Based on the gifts and talents and resources that you've given me and created me for. What am I doing this year that aligns with that? To me, that's what writing vision is. It's not about the mechanics of like how much more can I get. It's how much more can I become this year? How much more can I become more like you and get closer to doing what you designed and called me to do? Whatever that is, right? For some of y'all, that's gonna be evolution at work. For others, it's gonna be, things in your business. For some, it may be starting a business. For some, it may be a purging season to get rid of these people in your life that ain't got no business being there. For others, it's getting clear on your identity, right? It's for some, it's becoming a better steward. Stop being such a consumer. You know, you got to have vision for every important area of your life. So that will be number two for me, bro, is people have to take the time to get clear about here's the posture. If God is allowing me to live for another year, which I don't know that, I can only plan as if He is, then if I truly understand that my lot in life is to carry out my calling and my purpose, then if God giving me another year, I need to be talking to Him about what I'm supposed to be doing. Not what I think I'm supposed to be doing. What am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
It's a dialogue. I was telling David last night, he was like, man, how you like being a grandfather? And I'm like, bro, when that baby was born, I went from being in that hospital room, excited, elated, to an hour and a half later driving in the car asking God, what does this mean? If the text says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children, well, now my children got children. And I know that that's beyond financial when he's saying leave an inheritance. So, God, what does this mean? Why at 42 years of age am I a grandfather, and what does this mean for my life? What's this new position? Because at the org chart of my family, I'm at the top. Me and my wife at the top. And man had a woman, right? God had a man, man had a woman. So I'm at the top of the org chart right now for my lineage. So what does this mean? So here's what I do know. It don't mean spoil your grandkids and send them home. That's what society says to do. But I know it ain't that cute. I know that's a part of it, but I know that's not all of it because that's not how He operates. So with everything that I'm given, while yes, there's joy in it, I'm always looking for the responsibility behind it though. Because there's always some. If you want to operate in wisdom.
It's good. He said, "Don't spoil the grandkids."
No, I mean, right.
Right.
She gonna look, the princess will be spoiled, believe you me. But there's another dynamic to it than just that.
Right. 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So daily disciplines, getting clear vision. That's number 2. What's number 3?
Mm. Got to get more skill.
Okay.
Got to get more skill.
Okay.
Right. I signed up for a 3-day virtual conference last week. That starts like the beginning of January, and I'm gonna put a couple more things on the bro. You got to get more skill. If you want to get better in 2026, you got to get more skill, and here's why. Because we now live in a skills-based society. The people with the most skill make the most money. It's not the people that work the hardest. It's the people that with the most skill. And so if you want to win in 2026, you got to get more skill. You got to read more books in your area of perceived genius or your area of genius. You got to stop taking your natural gifts and talents for granted.
Mm.
God gave me a gift of communication, but I still sow seeds into forming my communication.
That's good. That's
LeBron done
good.
broke every record in the NBA and still not the best player, but he done broke every record. Yet he spent $2-3 million a year on developing and honing in on his gift.
Hmm.
That's a clue.
Hmm.
So we're never done with the investment we need to make in our gift to continue to hone in on our skill and evolve more. You got to get more skill.
That's good.
The difference between the money you make today and the money you want to make tomorrow is the skill you haven't developed yet. That's all it is. If you work in corporate America and you make $120,000 a year, it's because you've gotten good at those things. If you want to make $500,000 a year, then you need to get good at the things that people that make $500,000 a year are good at, which is communication, which is sales, which is marketing, which is execution. That's what they're good at. All of them. Show me one person make $500,000 a year. They're good at communication. They're good at execution. They're good at sales. They're good at marketing. That's a clue. So if you want to get to where you're making at least $500,000 or more a year, you got to get great at communication, good at sales, good at marketing, good at execution.
It's good. That's good. So we got daily
People
disciplines.
say, I'm just not a salesperson. Okay. It baffles me. The self-imposed limitations, but then yet the perceived appetite of what they say they actually desire in life.
Mm.
So if you're not that, and I just told you, if you want to make a $500,000 or more, you got to be great at communication, good at sales, good at So if you say you want to live a financially free life and you want to be a millionaire and all the things, then you cannot allow yourself to say I'm not a salesperson. You can say I'm not a salesperson right now, but I'm about to be one. You see what I mean, bro? Like,
Yeah.
this is where I'm saying it has to be a bridge between what you truly believe and how you behave. Because you will only behave consistently in what you believe. So if you believe you can become this millionaire, then you will behave consistent with that, despite what your old identity was. And so I just think, you know, coupled with number two, which is vision, 2A has to be, you got to be honest with yourself. What really do you want to do? Maybe you just, I ain't gonna say you just are supposed to be, but maybe you are going to be a steady Eddie the rest of your life. You're gonna keep going to work, you're gonna pray every day in the car, you don't lose your job, and then hope one day that you got enough money to retire and go on a few cruises before you die. Like maybe that is what you're going, bro. I'm not being funny. I promise you. Like
I know.
for some people watching this, that's just what your life gonna be because you refuse to do the things necessary to make it different. And so if you've accepted that to be your lot in life, then quit perping. Own it. Start picking out what cruises you want to go on. Make sure you don't miss them 401k meetings. But stop lying to you and everybody else and wasting time. Yes, I know you're not great at sales today. It's because you don't have the skill. But the truth is, you've been selling all your life. You done sold your spouse on why they should marry you. You done sold them kids on why they should clean their room. You done sold that interview on why they should hire you. You done sold your parents on why they should let you stay home from school today. Don't tell me you ain't no salesperson. Everybody are salespeople. You haven't blossomed that skill into the right context to make you the money that you desire.
That's
Everybody is a
good.
salesperson. Stop lying to you and others.
That's very good.
We say dumb stuff every day to support our dumb narrative. I'm not a salesperson. Okay, but you are a broke person. And if you don't want to be a broke person, then you have to figure out how not to be a broke person.
Everybody's a salesperson. That's good. I ain't never heard that
Everybody's
before.
a salesperson, bro. Like we got to knock it off. You got to wake up and sell yourself on why you should get in that car, put that monkey suit on, and go to work today.
You some monkeys. Hey, you not lying, bro.
I don't like salespeople. So you don't like yourself?
That's good.
You got to sell yourself on why you should get up and go to the gym instead of sitting there eat the snack. Sales is simply persuasion, bro, and we persuade ourselves and others every single day. To say I'm
Yeah.
not a salesperson is just ignorant, actually. It's ignorant and irresponsible. And it is the thing that is inhibiting you from the life that you want.
100%. That's
So
good.
everybody needs to go out, develop more skill for this year if you want to make more
Okay.
money.
Okay. So we got daily disciplines, getting clear vision, getting more skill. What's the last and final
And by
one?
the
Or
way,
how?
by skill, let me be very clear. Income producing skill. Income producing skill. Income producing skill. Getting better at sales, getting better at marketing, getting getting phenomenal at communicating, and getting great at execution. Income producing skill. Not more certifications, not more degrees. Income producing skills. I'm learning how to write a book. Cool. But you need to learn how to sell it or you're going to be the only one reading it. Hello? Income producing skills.
100%. 100%. So yeah, man, what's the last and final key to winning 2026, man?
The last and final key to winning in 2026 is simple. All of your goals should be input oriented, not output oriented.
That's good. Elaborate, please.
So most people would say, "Hey, I want to at least make $500,000 this year." Okay, cool. That's an output oriented goal, which by the way, you got no control over. And the only semblance of control that you may have to get to that outcome is based on the inputs that you do every day. So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you got a coaching business. You got a coaching business and you got a 10K offer. How many of those do you need to sell every month in order to make a $500,000 in 12 months? If y'all here, put it in the chat. If you got a 10K offer and if you're trying to make a $500,000 in 2026, how many of those do you need to sell to get there? How many of those do you need to sell to get there per month? We all family here. It's okay if you don't get it right, but this is how you got to think about. This is what I mean by this is how you make your dreams tangible.
Oh, okay.
This is how you make your goals tangible, right? You got to reverse engineer the outcome you want through the input that needs to happen. Because my goals don't happen in a year, they happen every day.
It's good.
I don't live the year, I live the day. So what I do in the day will produce what happens in a week, will produce what happens in a month, will produce what happens in a quarter, will produce what happens in a year. But if I set a goal for the year, it's impossible for me to hit that goal if I don't reverse engineer it into daily inputs.
You need to sell about like five per month.
Correct. Right? Five per month will be 50 grand times 12 will be 600,000. You actually eclipse your $500,000 goal.
Yeah.
Right? So in saying that, then I got to understand, okay, cool. So in order for me to sell five of these per month, how many people do I need to talk to sell one?
Mm.
So if I get 7 calls booked per week, and out of 7 calls, I close one, then in order for me to get five of these in a month, then I mean, right, for every seven brings me one. and I need to get 5. So I need to talk to 35 people. 7 times 5 is 35. I need to talk to 35 people in a month to close 5. Is everybody tracking so far?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So then how do I get these 35 people on the phone? Well, I either got to run ads, I got to do organic marketing, I got to post content every day, I got to have the right call to actions. I got to do all. Maybe I got to do one or the other. Maybe I got to do all of them. Maybe, just maybe, my organic content may perform well enough to where I don't have to go out and run ads. But maybe I do. Maybe I need to do both. We do both, right?
Yeah.
Then anywhere between $30,000 and $50,000 on ads per cycle, right? Which could be about every 4 to 6 weeks. But I post content every day, 6 days a week, right? Because the content complements the ad spend. People go wrong by thinking I'm gonna just run ads, but then you got no foundation. So when most buyers don't make a buying decision immediately from the ad, they want to come check you out, they want to see who you are, and when they get there, they better find something, they better find enough of it that they can go consume it for 20, 30 minutes or an hour or more so that they can really get to know who you are. Then next time they see that ad, they go back and buy. But people think, oh, I'm just gonna cut on ads. You don't post enough. So when people get there, they see a shell of what your business is supposed to be. They don't have enough information to make a decision, right? So anyway, that was a bonus. So if I want to make $500,000 a year and I need to close 5 people a month at 10K, and for every 7 people I talk to, I close one, then I need to talk to 35 people to close 5. But then I also need to be generating enough leads to get 35 people on the phone. So I got to have DM conversations. I got to have um, I got to have lead magnets that I give away to people so that I could get their email and phone number into a database so I could continuously contact them and send out messages and send out emails and all the things. When I say that the goals need to be input oriented, this is what I mean. It can't be that I want to make $500,000 this year and then I just get up every day and go to work. It's got to be, in order for me to make $500,000 this year, I got to be setting seven. I got to have 7 calls a week, and I got to close 5 people a month. How do I get 35 people into my ecosystem every month for me to talk to? And it's either from email, posting content, ads, or all the above. So guess what my job is? I got to have new creative every month to run ads to. I got to have content, strategic content planning every single day to talk to my target audience. I got to have a total on how many DM conversations am I starting every day with my followers. And of those DM conversations, how many of them does it take for me to get a book call of all the people? Out of the 10 people I talk to, I get 2 book calls. Okay, cool. So I got to be having at minimum 10 conversations a day to get 2 more people on my call log so that I can hit my 7-8 calls within a week. This is what I mean by your goals have to be input oriented, not outcome oriented. You're never going to hit the goal by focusing on the outcome. You can only hit the goal by focusing on the input, and you control the input. This is why people have goals every year, bro, and they fail by February. It don't work. Inputs create outcomes. And people be so focused on the outcome, these stupid vision boards hanging up in their rooms. It's like, where your inputs at? Where the daily discipline at?
Right.
Where's the control, the part you can control at? So then you get all discouraged and, oh, we only made this much this month, we only made this much. You can't control that part. The only thing you can control is, did you do enough webinars? Did you post enough content? Did you meet enough people? Did you network every day? Did you Did you do those things that you can control? Did you do the daily activity that causes productivity? Did you go live as frequent as you should have? Like, are you pulling all these levers? Or do you post one content piece of content and you just sit there, 3 likes? I'm sick of doing this. Then you build up enough nerve, somebody give you a compliment, and then you post twice in 2 more weeks. This is what happens, bro. And people call themselves business owners. And then you got excited because this one did well, and everybody was saying, "Girl, you did so good," and "Oh, bro, you killed that one." And you, but then you put out another piece, crickets. That's what I'm saying, man. The algorithm all messed up, man. I'm tired of doing this, man. Man, they don't want nobody to win. All they want everybody to win is all the big people. Okay. Tell that to that vision board with that Rolls Royce on it. Tell that to that spouse that keep watching you stop and start every time. Keep telling that to that spouse that keep watching you quit. And although they're not condemning you for it, they're keeping score. Tell that to them children that you keep running around telling that you're an entrepreneur. Yeah, you don't want to work for nobody. You want to be an entrepreneur when you grow up. Not a broke one. Not a broke one.
Right.
I'm doing this for them. Are you really, though? What exactly are you doing for them? Getting up every day, making excuses? Letting yourself off the hook? Doing things when it's convenient and it feels good and you're excited about it? What exactly do you mean you're doing for them? Other than a disservice. Can
It's
you
good.
work without the applause? Can you work consistently without the applause? That's what the daily inputs are. As Myron would call it, can you do the work gravitropically underground to develop the root system of the business so that when your phototropic moment comes, that the root system will be strong enough. A tree grows in 2 directions. We only see it come out of the ground, but it grows almost just as far down than it does up.
It's
But we
good.
don't see that because below the surface is the gravitropic work, right? Because it's going toward gravity. The root system is growing down. That's the dark stuff, the dirty stuff, the stuff nobody see. The reading the Bible for a whole year and nobody know that you done completed the whole Bible in a year. That's the gravitropic work. The hating the opening up the app and still having to read it and go through it because that's what you done committed to and you like, bro, I'm behind 5 days and it's like 35 chapters and I don't even know how I'm gonna get through this. And that's the gravitropic work. So that when you had your phototropic moment, when the tree then blossomed and it then grew tall and it then grew strong and the fruit is falling off that thing, that's what everybody else sees, the fruit and the height of the tree. But they don't see how deep the roots are. Most business owners fail in 2026 or otherwise because they despise the dirty work.
Mm.
They despise the dirty work. They don't encourage themselves enough to do what's necessary. They're waiting for somebody to show up and give them applause. And if you keep waiting on that, and you keep waiting on a feeling of excitement, and you keep waiting, you're going to be disappointed with your business.
It's
Thus,
good.
disappointed with your life. It's just the
That's good.
reality, bro.
Yeah.
Make the rules. I'm just telling you how it go. I've seen it time and time and time and time again, bro.
Yeah. That's good. And to even piggyback off of something you said, This would be my one rule if I had to add in. You were talking about honesty. Um, and when I think about honesty, one thing, the quote that comes to mind is, you can't be who you already think you are. You can't. So I thought I was somebody this year that I completely was not. And I'm grateful because I'm glad I didn't have my phototropic moment and I was a fraud of what I thought I was. So I'm grateful for that because I realized a lot of people, they are okay with living a life and thinking that they're already who they are. They're like, yeah, I'm already there. Like, it's okay to say you're not. One thing I had to be okay with in this year is saying I'm not that yet. Yet. There's a difference between saying I'm not that or I'm not that yet. So I told myself I'm not that yet, and that's okay. But you can't be who you already think you are. So there's a humility factor, we get humility as thinking we're passive. No, that's not what I'm saying as being humble. Being honest, you got to keep it real with yourself because God's not going to anoint the fake version of you who's just acting and just telling people facts and not having no fruit. That's what Pharisees did. They had all facts, no fruit. So I realized for probably majority of my life, I was living that way. There was a lot of facts. I could tell you things about the Bible. I could tell you great things in business and strategies and all these other things, but no fruit. So yeah, you can't be who you already think you are. And I just think that's something that I think we all need to just continuously evaluate ourselves as 2026 comes around the corner. I think that's something that we should do as well. But
That's good.
that's all I got.
Real good.
So
It's that's why I made reference to Psalm 37:4 earlier, that we need to take delight in the Lord and let Him
yeah,
give us the desires of our heart.
yeah,
Because the desires of our heart, which is really the desires of our flesh, will seek premature promotion, which will ultimately end in premature destruction.
yes, 1,000%,
The premature promotion will end in premature destruction because you never became the
1,000%.
person to yield that fruit yet.
Yes,
So that very thing that you were seeking is the very thing that will crush you. Ask me how I know.
I'm right there with you.
Ask me how I know. This is where the term
Yeah.
miserable millions came from. I lived it.
Hmm.
It's not what you want. It's not what you want. We got to focus on the gravitropic work so that when we have our phototropic moment, everybody, no matter what's thrown at you, you'll be able to stand tall.
It's good.
Not log off. This is why people
It's
log
good.
off. This is why people say, I gotta have what they call it, something from social media. Like I gotta have what do they call those things when they log off for a long time?
Uh,
Fast from
I don't.
social media. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's too much. You gotta log off. You gotta log off. We gotta focus on becoming the person, bro.
Yes, sir.
And the only way you become the person is by doing the things every day that oftentimes you hate to do, most time you scared to do, most time you in your head about, most time you're apprehensive of, most time you doubt yourself, most time you worried about everybody else. Those things that evoke all those thoughts and emotions are the things that you need to do every day. And that's the difference between the people that win and the people that don't. Is that most people are unwilling to fight against the current to get to the other side. They only want to do the things that go with the current. But guess what? Everybody does the things that go with the current. That's why it's such a large group of mediocrity because most people follow the path of least resistance. Only the exceptional people would do the things that go against the current. So the biggest question in 2026 is, are you going to be mediocre or exceptional? And on that note, I think that's a perfect place to end it.
Mic drop. Mic drop.
Hope this blessed you. Happy New Year to everybody. And
Happy New Year.
we will see you guys on the other side because we got to show up and be exceptional. The question is, how you showing up in 2026? Until next time, folks. Bless y'all. See y'all on the other side.